and emerging challenges in the ship design and construction industry, while also achieving the objectives of Atmanirbharta. The chief guest for today's launching ceremony is Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, the Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, Electronics and IT. GRSE embraces the energy and ideas of today's talented youngsters to revolutionize the industry. GRSE empowers the next generation of trailblazers as our youngest officer, Shri G. Suri Prakash, Assistant Manager, launches the game scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Minister Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, Minister of State for Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, Electronics and IT, has joined us. GRSE is deeply honored by his esteemed presence on this occasion. On behalf of all present here, GRSE extends a very warm and hearty welcome to him. Rajiv Chandrasekharji is a member of the Union Council of Ministers of Narendra Modi government. He holds twin responsibilities as Minister of State for Electronics, Information Technology, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship in the country. He's focused on implementing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Digital India by expanding and deepening India's tech and innovation economy, developing India as a global talent and entrepreneurship hub. In this regard, he is leading several initiatives such as the Semiconductor Mission for India, Electronic System Design and Manufacturing, Deep Tech Investment Promotion, Startup India and Technology Policy Development. A tech native, Shri Chandrasekhar has a bachelor's in electrical engineering with an MS in computer science from the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. He started his engineering career in the United States, working on microprocessors, compilers, and Unix operating systems at Intel. In the early 1990s, he returned to India to begin his entrepreneurial journey, setting up one of India's earliest mobile cellular network, BPL Mobile, which he successfully exited to Hutchinson, now Vodafone, in 2005. In 2006, Shri Chandrasekhar committed himself to long-term public service. A three-term parliamentarian, he started his political career as Member of Parliament in 2006, campaigning for a variety of public interest and economic growth issues, including exposing the 2G spectrum allocation scam in the telecom sector as an opposition MP, advocating for a rules-based internet, data privacy and interoperability. I now request Commodore P.R. Hari, Indian Navy retired, Chairman and Managing Director GRSE, for his address.
Honorable Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, Directors of GRSE, Senior Officials from GRSE, and the other dignitaries who are physically here and logged in online, friends from the media, and last but not the least, representatives of the various startups who are logged in to attend this launch event. At the outset, let me state that today is indeed a momentous day, a momentous occasion for GRSE as we eagerly wait the launch of Games 2023. The GRSE Accelerated Innovation Nurturing Scheme, an initiative that is very close to our heart. We are indeed honored by the presence of Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, the Honorable Minister, amongst us today as a chief guest for this event. An eminent industrialist, a technocrat, a visionary, and someone who's currently spearheading the digital transformation process of our nation. Sir, your very presence here is a major booster, not only for Team GRSE, but also for the startups who are logged in large numbers to witness this event. GRSE and the Make in India efforts of the nation are synonymous. Over the last 63 years of our existence, we have been designing and constructing warships for the Indian Armed Forces. This unique special venture gains is another contribution of GRSE towards nation building. Perhaps this is the first time, this is the first of kind initiative by any public sector undertaking, a startup challenge to tap the inherent strength and capability of the Indian startup ecosystem to come up with technologically innovative solutions. In our case, in three thematic areas that we have identified: artificial intelligence in shipbuilding, renewable energy and green energy solutions, and of course, efficiency enhancement at the shipyard. The Indian startup ecosystem today is perhaps one of the best in the world. The focused efforts of the Government of India, especially during the last few years, has seen this startup system to mature into one of the best in the world with 99,390 startups registered as on date, with over 100 unicorns. This was from a modest figure of 452 startups in 2016. And I'm very confident that the young, creative, sharp, and innovative young men and women who shall take part in this startup challenge games will come up with out of the box implementable solutions to make our venture a grand success. Gains is a two-stage process, and considering that warship building is a very unique process with its own peculiarities, we at GRSE shall ensure that the participants are given adequate opportunities to familiarize themselves with the way we work, to understand our business processes, so that they can identify gap areas and come up with innovative technology-based solutions. Today, games shall be launched a few moments from now by the youngest officer of the shipyard, who is sitting right next to me in the august presence of the Honorable Minister. The very fact that we have chosen a young officer, the youngest officer of the shipyard, is to reiterate our commitment to nurture young minds to come up with futuristic technology-based solutions. Games, their participants shall be a very fair process. Selection shall be a very fair process, and we shall of course handhold the winners and ensure that the selected solutions are implemented in a time-bound manner. Let me conclude first by thanking the Honorable Minister, Sri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, for gracing this occasion despite a very busy schedule and despite a very short notice. Thank you, sir. And let me also wish all the participants of Games 2023 the very best. Let this challenge bring out the best in you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I inform all present here that we have over a century of participants watching this live and joining us here as we launch games. It is our privilege to have the Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, Electronics and IT, Sri Rajiv Chandrasekharji with us. May I now request the Honorable Minister for the keynote address.
The leadership at GRSE, the startups that are attending this program today, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to speak today at the GRSE Accelerated Innovation Nurturing Scheme, Games 2023. I'm particularly excited and happy that GRSE has taken this initiative and expanding its own research ecosystem and R&D ecosystem by having this partnership with young Indians and young startups around the country. Let me share some of my thoughts with you. I certainly again say that this is a win-win relationship, a partnership that in a way will shape the future of technology in India, the future of innovation in India. And I'm very happy that an organization like GRSE that has got so much of history and is doing so well is undertaking this type of an initiative in partnering with young Indians and young innovators to shape the future of their product lines and their capabilities. Let me just share some of my thoughts with you. Obviously, you know, I've spent over three and a half decades in technology. But in 2015, when our Honorable Prime Minister launched Digital India, he laid out three broad goals. And I certainly think today's event on Games 2023 is very aligned to that vision of the Honorable Prime Minister. He first said that technology in India must transform the lives of Indian citizens and change governance and democracy from the 5 decades and 6 decades of a narrative that government and democracy were dysfunctional. And technology must change that. The second objective and goal he laid out in front of the country was that technology must create an expansion of our GDP, must create more economic opportunities for our young Indians in entrepreneurship. And the third is an equally important marker that he laid in 2015, that India must move from being a consumer of technologies to being a producer, architect, provider of solution provider. In those three goals that the Honorable Prime Minister set up. There is another quote that I always use when I interact with startups and organizations such as GRSE, which is statement in the 2016 time frame by our National Security Advisor, Shri Ajit Doval. He said the future battlefields will be dominated by and won by those nations who have either economic power and or technology power. And in the event you don't have the economic power, it is a country that will have the dominant technology power that will triumph on the future battlefield. You are seeing how the conventional battlefields and conventional paradigms of what constitutes advantages and superiority on a battlefield are being redrawn in front of our eyes with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and how technologies like drones, autonomous systems, artificial intelligence are in a way laying ineffective decades of traditional battlefield and warfare theories and designs. We're living in very interesting times, very challenging times in many ways, but we're also living in opportunity-rich era where technology and corporatization of systems lends us the ability and capability to be leading innovation in a way that few would have thought of just a few years ago. Just recently, the Honorable Defence Minister has announced and shared with the country that defence production in our country has exceeded 1 lakh crores, and the target by 2025 is to be in excess of 2 lakh crores. And so, as a nation, we are charged that we are no longer just consumers of technologies, we are lead innovators in the future of technology. We are building capabilities of the kind that we never believed possible for a country like India just a few years ago. I was fortunate enough to be at the INS Vikrant launch in Cochin just a few months ago, and I always use that as an example when I go to many colleges and universities, and I visited over 53 since I've become minister, to showcase the INS Vikrant and these complex platforms that are being delivered from shipyards like GRSE, as testimony to the capability of India in not just in engineering, but in the complex microelectronics and systems and sensors that go to making the battleships of today and naval platforms of today. Having said all of this, as we look into the future of tech, it is clear that technology and innovation cannot be developed by one organization alone. Even the biggest of organizations today, the tech companies of the world, understand that a partnership between the actual platform architect, the platform owner, and an ecosystem of innovators, an ecosystem that is the innovation ecosystem around it, is the way of the future. So I'm especially glad that companies, public sector units like the GRSE, which for many, many years, including when I was a young entrepreneur, were seen as hurdles to young Indians' dreams, are now not just enablers of it, but are partners to the dreams and aspirations of young Indians all over the country. So congratulations to Kumra Hari and his team and to the board of GRSE for really pivoting and reshaping how startups and young Indians view public sector enterprises, and especially these big large companies such as GRSE in the whole realm of innovation. I congratulate you in terms of not just your initiative but your vision in ensuring that your platforms remain competitive, your platforms have the best of innovations incorporated and embedded in it, but doing so in partnership with this ecosystem innovator. Let me quickly share with you my thoughts on the innovation world, the deep tech world, in the way it is evolving in this country. In 2014, when India was talked about in the context of the digital economy, we were referred to as an ITES back office of the world, and we have done very well. We have created many fine top-class companies in that area, the Infosys, the Wipros, and the TCS of the world. But I can safely share with you today, including the young startups who are there, part of the audience, that there is not one area of technology that India is not present in today. We have moved significantly forward from being in only the ITES space to now being a major player around the internet, consumer tech, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, microelectronics, quantum, high performance computing, the whole spectrum that today in a way represents opportunity and challenges in the digital economy and the technology ecosystem. India, Indian startup, Indian innovation, our players have a significant presence. I don't need to share my views on what the platforms of the future will be, but certainly we are seeing today from Russia, Ukraine, and we are seeing from all over the world increased deployment of AI on the edge, AI at the core as part of any weapon system or indeed any platform or any system. So our India AI program that is being rolled out today with the largest data set in the world is going to be clearly one of the kinetic enablers of the digital economy in our country and of innovation in particular. I won't take too much of your time. I congratulate GRSE, I congratulate the team for really taking this initiative, because really I think this partnership between young Indians that are today at the cutting edge of technology and innovation and organizations like GRSE that have a true deep track record of delivering sophisticated, complex products to the Indian security requirement and the Indian security establishment is a win-win in many ways, and not just win-win, I think it is an harbinger of the model of the future in terms of platforms and innovation for the future. So I congratulate you again. I thank you for inviting me. It is certainly the high point in my job to be able to engage with organizations and partnerships such as this, and I wish this partnership that I gained 2023 full success. And from our point of view at the Ministry and the Government of India, if there is anything that we can do to accelerate each type of partnership, we are totally available in whatever way we can to help you grow this model further. Thank you again, Kumra Hari. Thank you to the team for having me, and Jai Hind. Namaskar.
motivating words. Ladies and gentlemen, finally the moment has arrived when this open, innovative challenge, the GRSE Accelerated Innovation Nurturing Scheme GAINS, shall be launched. The launch shall be followed by a short video on GAINS. May I now request our youngest officer, Shri G. Surya Prakash, Assistant Manager, to launch GAINS 2023 by pressing the button. Gopal Mahindra, Chairman Mahindra Group, on your screen as he wishes GAINS 2023 all success. Thank you, sir, for the message and good wishes. May I now request Modo Rajiv Sridharan, Indian Navy retired, Chief General Manager Innovation, GRSE, to kindly present the vote of thanks. Request all to stay connected post the vote of thanks as our chief guest for today, the Honorable Minister, has kindly consented to take a couple of questions. The vote of thanks, sir.
Good morning to you all. It is my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this momentous occasion. On behalf of the Chairman and Managing Director and Team GRSE, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, Electronics and Information Technology, Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar Ji, for taking time out from his incredibly busy schedule to grace this occasion. The Honorable Minister's words of wisdom and encouragement has redoubled our resolve to take this initiative forward and make it a resounding success. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank the large number of innovators, academicians, and entrepreneurs who have joined us from across the country this morning. We look forward to working with you closely as we push ahead in our journey towards becoming a future-ready shipyard. I would also like to place on record a sincere gratitude To our friends from the media, many of whom are here today with us, physically in our boardroom, and a large number who are already present online. A little encouragement at the start of any new endeavor provides a boost of energy and enthusiasm. I would like to thank Sri Anand Mahindra and other stalwarts from industry and academia for sending us messages of encouragement. As with any successful event, behind the scenes there is a toil and sweat of a devoted team. I thank all those from Team GRSE who worked hard to make this event today possible. Thank you all once again, and Jai Hind.
Our distinguished guests, including innovators, engineers, designers, and friends from the media who connected online with us, the floor is yours. As the Honourable Minister has an extremely busy schedule, our administrators shall sequence the flow of questions offline and online. You're requested to please introduce yourself and the organisation you represent and place your questions to the Honourable Minister. Questions online, please.
Thank you, madam. I can see already some of the questions on the screen. So first one I'll pick up, Dr. Satish Babu. Sir, you have been unmuted. You can ask the question. Dr. Satish Babu, you have been unmuted.
Move to the next question and take his question later.
Mr. Vallabh Bokraj, Indian Express, you have been unmuted. You may please ask your question.
Somebody from here, India.
Can we have?
Sir.
I think there is a technical glitch.
There seems to be a slight technical glitch. Can we take some offline questions? Can I have Mr. Jointo, please?
Good morning, sir. My name is Jointo. I'm from IANS. So, again, I'll confirm that. My name is Jointo Gupta. I'm from IANS. Like you spoke about the need to promote startups and the government's attempt to do so. But speaking to some people who are working on that, trying to create startups and innovate, there is a complaint that, people in the administration of certain departments, government departments, they are still hesitant to give such people a chance to come forward with their ideas, with their concepts. Maybe it has something to do with how they, started off in their lives. But how are you trying to tackle this?
No, I think if there is a strong rebuttal of that perception, it is what GRSE is doing today. This effort by government organizations and the government to encourage startups is real. I can tell you, for example, in my ministry, in recent days, we have gone from almost zero semiconductor design startups to having about 23 design startups today that are doing cutting edge work in developing semiconductors and devices for the future. You are seeing today Garden Reach doing this very, very powerful idea of Games 2023, which essentially is a signal that they want to expand the horizon of their own innovation capability and capacity, which they already have, in a partnership with startups. I think this is the model of the future. More and more government entities and private entities and foreign companies and Indian companies are understanding the value of partnerships with young Indian startups, and they are doing so. Those organizations that do this will succeed and will continue to succeed. Those who do not see the value in partnering with young innovators will not succeed. It's as simple as that. And if there are some parts of the government that are not doing it, which I am not aware of, I can certainly tell you that they will see the reason very soon to doing it, because in a lot of ways, being competitive, being able to deliver what your customers want depends on a successful, robust partnership with an innovation ecosystem, just as what the GRSE is doing today.
Do we have any questions online?
Yeah, one more question has come from Mrs. Shobha Roy, Hindu Business Line. You have been unmuted, you may ask now.
Good morning, sir. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so sir, talking about partnering with the startup ecosystem, I just wanted to understand, in terms of defense, shipbuilding, and the more delicate and complex subjects, do you think the startup ecosystem in India is competent enough to kind of provide solutions for these sectors? And also, has there been any incidents in the past to kind of prove that they have been able to do it, or is this the first instance where a company in this sector is partnering with a startup ecosystem? If you could enlighten us on that.
No, certainly not. I think there is the deep tech ecosystem, which is very different from the IT ecosystem or the internet ecosystem. The deep tech ecosystem, which is microelectronics, semiconductor, artificial intelligence, embedded in systems. These are all areas that are extremely relevant in the electronics and strategic sectors like space, defense, naval, aerospace, etc., etc. So this is an area where India has always had, Indian youngsters have always had capabilities. For several decades, this capability was harnessed by the foreign companies. You know that large numbers of multinational foreign companies are headquartered in India with their R&D centers, and for a long time the world recognized this talent, but the government and Indian companies did not recognize this inherent capability and capacity that young Indians had. It is post 2015 that there is considerable recognition, respect, and therefore partnerships like this. To your question of whether this has happened in the past, I think all we need to do is take a look at INS Vikrant, which is a superlative symbol of Indian mega engineering and Indian microelectronics at the same time. So therefore, there are examples of this that are playing out all around the country, in the space sector, in the semiconductor sector, in the aerospace sector, in the defense sector, in the law and order, national security, intelligence sector, many areas where technology today from young Indian startups are being embedded, are being used, are part of the larger innovation and technology leadership that India is building.
Thank you, sir. Due to paucity of time, we just take one last question.
Yeah, I see Dr. Satish Babu is available. So, sir, you have been unmuted again. Please ask your question.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning. I'm Dr. Satish Babu. I'm head of the department in Ship Technology Department at Cochin University of Science and Technology, sir. So we do have a modest startup ecosystem in our university with around 50 startups doing well. And my question is, we want to further enhance it and bring in more students to this being entrepreneurs. And may I know your thoughts on how to integrate the academic institutions with the industry and attract more funding, and that's my question.
So absolutely, very good question, and I think in a lot of ways the answer to that question is what is the framework of innovation for the next decade, which the Prime Minister has referred to as India's decade. That at every stage, in every space where there is an opportunity, there is a tripartite, there is a triumvirate, a collaborative effort between government, the academia, industry, and when I say industry, it is not just big industry, but industry with startups. So, for example, I would say that in your college, in your university and college, a good partnership that you should explore is with Cochin Shipyard, of course, which is down the road from you, yourself, and approach either MeitY or Ministry of Shipping for a program which we would be more than happy to support either by way of resources and finances, but we are increasingly insisting as a government that any funding to an academic institution be a funding that is linked to either a startup ecosystem around the academic institution and or an anchor or anchors in terms of big industry. So this is the model, Professor, and this is the model you should pursue. And if there is anything that I can do to help you pursue that model, we will be more than happy to do so.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of GRSE, I once again thank Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar Ji, the Honorable Minister of State and Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, Electronics and IT for gracing this occasion today. We express our heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Minister. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.